Rhea and Hale sat alone inside the Deep Space Listening Center, a silent building placed far away from cities, noise, and people. He was a kind of scientist who did not accept easy answers. When the world said, "There's nothing out there," he said, "Then why does space feel so quiet?" For years, he worked on the same question. Why Earth never received a single alien signal? Not even one. Every other star system showed random radio noise, natural pulses, or cosmic echoes. But Earth was a perfect quiet zone. Tonight, something unusual appeared on his screen. A strange wave pattern, bending, curving, reshaping itself around Earth like water flowing around a rock. Rian frowned and zoomed in. The wave came from deep space. It traveled normally until it reached the edge of Earth's space. Then, suddenly, it bent sharply, curving away as if something invisible pushed aside. He checked the data again. Same thing. Signals were not missing. Signals were being blocked. Rian's hands trembled with excitement. He ran the simulation again, then again. Every signal from the galaxy avoided Earth the exact same way. Not by distance, not by randomness, by design. "Something is deflecting them," he whispered. The more he zoomed, the more his heart pounded. The deflection lines formed a complete circle around Earth, a radius of 50,000 kilometers. A perfect sphere. No natural object could create this shape. No force in physics curved signals with this level of precision. This wasn't nature. This was engineering. He printed the graphs, saved every file, then tried sending them to main server. But suddenly the system flashed red. Access denied, data locked. "What?" he said quietly. He tried again. Access denied. Then, something even stranger happened. His entire computer froze. A message flashed across the screen. "This information is restricted. Classified since 802 BC. Rian stared at the date. 802 BC? Who classified something thousands of years before computers existed. He tried disconnecting the network. The system refused. He pulled out the hard drive. It still refused. The machine was controlled remotely by someone or something far above his clearance. Within minutes, security teams arrived. Men in dark uniforms entered the room and unplugged every machine with cold, practiced calm. "Dr. Hale, you saw a calibration error," one officer said without emotion. "Forget this. We will handle it." Rian didn't believe a word. Something was deeply wrong. That night, he returned secretly. He broke into the backup storage room, where old satellites sent raw data before the government processed it. Inside one folder, dusty and untouched, he found a file labeled Archive, SAT-04. Restricted, do not open. Date, 802 BC. He opened it. Inside was a single audio message. The sound was soft at first, like wind moving through stone. Then words formed, old, heavy, not human. Rian didn't understand the language, but one line repeated clearly enough for translation software to pick up. The message said, "If Earth ever sees the stars again, the truth will escape." A cold wave moved through his body. Why would someone warn about Earth seeing the stars? Who sent the warning? Why hide it for thousands of years? He stepped outside to clear his mind. The night sky looked peaceful, too peaceful. But then something strange happened. For a moment, the moon flickered. Not dimmed, not clouded. Flickered, like a massive object briefly passed in front of it. Rian stared up, breath frozen. Nothing that size could move without being seen. Unless, of course, it was cloaked. He remembered the deflected signals. He remembered the message. He remembered the unnatural silence of space. Earth was not alone. Earth was not ignored. Earth was contained. Humans always wondered why aliens never came. Why no one said hello? Why no signal ever reached Earth? The answer was terrifying. Someone built a barrier around Earth. Someone wanted humanity cut off. And they were still out there, watching. Rian ran back inside and checked a live telescope feed. He zoomed into the edge of Earth's atmosphere. For a fraction of a second, a shape appeared. A curved metal arc, shimmering like heat over fire. Then it vanished. A structure, massive, hidden. The realization hit him hard. Humans never found aliens because aliens were not allowed to find humans. Earth was being kept in a dark cage, separated from the galaxy like a dangerous secret. Suddenly, a soft beat came from a screen. A new signal appeared. Not deflected, not blocked. A direct transmission. It wasn't coming from far away. It was coming from inside the barrier. Rian zoomed in. Small letters formed on the screen. Simple, calm, terrifying. Earth, do not speak. They will hear you. Rian's heart pounded. Who sent this warning? Who were they? And why was humanity not allowed to be heard? He looked at the sky again. For a moment, he felt something watching him, a presence old and invisible. The world believed Earth was alone. But Rian now understood the truth. Earth was never alone. Earth was being silenced. And the ones who silenced humanity were coming back. Rian Hale did not sleep after the mysterious message appeared on his screen. Earth, do not speak. They will hear you. These 6 words played in his mind like an echo trapped inside a dark room. He rechecked his equipment, recalibrated the telescope, and scanned deep space again and again. But the more he looked, the more the truth became impossible to ignore. Someone inside the barrier had contacted him. Someone who did not want the jailers to hear. But who could hide inside a prison built by an ancient species? And why ward a human? Rian spent the night analyzing the wave patterns from the message. It didn't match alien frequencies he had seen in old classified files. It wasn't human either. It had a broken rhythm, almost like someone hiding their voice under static to avoid being detected. Then something strange happened. The signal repeated, softly, slowly, almost like a whisper crossing the edge of silence. But this time, the message included coordinates. Near the dark side of the moon, right outside Earth's atmosphere, but still inside the barrier. Rian felt a chill. Someone was waiting for him. He contacted no one, not the government, not the military, not his colleagues. Every instinct told him the wrong ears were listening. Instead, he took a small private shuttle from a forgotten research hangar. He told the guards he was performing a routine sensor test. They didn't question him. No one ever questioned the quiet scientist. Within an hour, he soared through the thin line between sky and space. Below him, Earth shone blue and peaceful. Above him, silence waited. He followed the coordinates. Nothing appeared on the radar. Nothing showed on the scanner. But his instincts whispered the same fear the message carried. Something was there. Something cloaked. Something hiding from the builders of the barrier. His shuttle lights flickered. A cold wave of static washed over the controls. Then the stars bent, not by gravity, not by movement, but by something uncloaking itself. A small craft appeared, damaged, trembling, as if it barely survived crossing the barrier. Burn marks covered its hull, and strange symbols glowed faintly on its surface. It was not human. It was not from the architects either. It was something in between. Rian drifted closer. His shuttle received a new message, soft, broken, spoken by a voice that sounded old and exhausted. You must listen before they return. Rian's hands trembled. Who are you? He asked. The voice replied after a long, painful pause. A prisoner like you. The words cut through him. Humanity had always believed they were alone. Now someone out there, inside their own cage, claimed to share their fate. The alien finally uncloaked its ship completely. The craft was small, almost like an escape pod. It had dents, cracks, and scorch marks as if something monstrous hunted it. Rian opened a docking channel. The craft fused with his shuttle with a metallic groan. The lights dimmed as the airlock hissed open. Inside the pod sat a thin, fragile alien with pale skin and tired eyes. Its body looked half-starved, half-burned. It had clearly been running for a long time. When it spoke, its voice carried fear more ancient than humanity itself. You should not have answered the sky, it whispered. The architects will come back now. Rian steadied his voice. Who are they? The alien closed its eyes. The ones who locked your world away. The ones who believe humans must never meet the galaxy. Rian frowned. Why would they do that? Why isolate Earth? The alien opened its eyes, sadness swimming inside them. Because humans evolve faster than any race. Because you learn too quickly. Because your species grows unpredictable. You break patterns. You break rules. You break destiny. Rian felt his breath leave his chest. So they cut Earth off? The alien nodded weakly. Thousands of years ago, before your empires, before your history, they built the barrier to silence your world, to stop your rise. Rian looked at the creature carefully. Then why warn me? Why help us? The alien's voice grew faint. Because the barrier is weakening, and when it falls, the architects will not let your species leave peacefully. They will erase your world to stop you from reaching the stars. Rian felt a surge of fear and anger. Humanity had always wondered why no signal came, why no contact existed, why space was silent. Now the truth was worse than any theory. Earth was not ignored. Earth was contained. And the guardians of that cage were coming back. The alien leaned forward. Listen carefully, human. They fear your kind more than any species. But I have seen what humans can do. Chaos is your weapon. Emotion is your strength. You will not fall easily. Rian whispered, then help us fight. The alien handed him a small crystalline device glowing faint blue. This will show you how they return. Use it before it is too late. Suddenly alarms blared across the pod. The alien's eyes widened in terror. They found me. Rian looked through the window. The stars flickered again. Something massive was emerging from cloaking, black, silent, enormous. The architects had arrived. The alien grabbed Rian's arm with desperate strength. Run. Warn your world. Prepare them. Rian rushed back to his controls. The shuttle's engines roared. The alien's pod collapsed behind him as a beam of dark energy sliced through it. Rian escaped by inches. As he sped toward Earth, one truth burned in his mind. Humanity was never forgotten. Humanity was never alone. Humanity was hidden, because the galaxy feared what humans could become. And now, the silence was broken. Rian Hale returned to Earth with a mind full of fear, questions, and a strange crystal device glowing faintly in his pocket. The alien who sacrificed itself had not died for nothing. It gave humanity its first real clue, and its first warning. The barrier was weakening, and the architects were already on their way. When Rian landed at the secret research base, the world still believed everything was normal. People walked streets, scrolled their screens, cooked dinner, lived their lives. But in the sky above them, something ancient had begun to crack. Rian rushed into the control room. Screens flickered with strange readings. Electromagnetic spikes. Unnatural distortions. Radio waves bending in impossible ways. The operator shouted, "Sir, satellites are losing orientation. North isn't north, and our signals are bouncing back like something is pushing them away." Rian's face tightened. "They're not pushing them away. The barrier is failing." Everyone paused. "The what?" a technician asked. Rian exhaled slowly. "The invisible cage around Earth. The one built thousands of years ago." Confusion spread across the room, mixed with fear. Before anyone could respond, the lights dimmed. A deep hum vibrated through the entire building. It wasn't mechanical. It wasn't natural. It felt alive. Screens flashed white. The night sky outside flickered. Something massive moved above the Earth. Something unseen but heavy, like a shadow shifting across clouds. "Is that a solar flare?" a scientist whispered. Rian shook his head. "No, that's the barrier losing power." He opened the alien crystal. The device released a soft blue projection, showing a 3D map of the barrier. It looked like a spherical dome around Earth, made of millions of shimmering threads. But now, small cracks appeared, thin fractures spreading like spiderweb lines. Each crack pulsed with faint white light. "What happens when it breaks?" someone asked. Rian swallowed. "Everything outside the barrier will hear Earth again. Every species, every empire, every enemy." A deep silence fell over the room. Then the building shook, not from an explosion, but from resonance. The air vibrated as if something enormous was speaking from very far away. But the voice wasn't human. It wasn't meant to be heard by humans. It was a frequency beyond speech, an activation tone. Rian's eyes widened. "They're trying to repair the barrier." "But can they?" A scientist asked. No, Rian whispered. It's too old, too damaged. The architects didn't prepare for something inside to resist them. Something inside like humanity. Outside, the sky flashed again, bright blue streaks rippling across the atmosphere. Clouds twisted unnaturally. Birds scattered. Animals panicked. Airplanes had to rear out as instruments went haywire. The barrier was shaking itself apart. Rian checked the crystal's projection again. The cracks were spreading faster. What if the barrier collapses completely? One officer asked. Rian hesitated. The answer was worse than the question. Then the architects won't try to repair it anymore. His voice grew heavy. They'll try to erase the world it failed to contain. Before anyone could respond, a satellite feed appeared. One of the orbiting cameras caught something impossible, a huge, slow-moving shape drifting between the Earth and the Moon. The image was blurry, distorted by cloaking fields, but the outline was unmistakable. A ship, a massive ship, older than human civilization itself. The screen zoomed in before the image collapsed into static. The room fell silent. They're here, Rian whispered. Panic erupted. Soldiers scrambled. Scientists shouted instructions. World leaders demanded answers through secure channels. But amidst the chaos, Rian noticed something on the crystal's projection. A large crack in the barrier, larger than all others, was pulsing rapidly, not from damage, but from something pushing outward. What is that? A technician asked. The crack widened further, releasing a deep, resonant hum. The same frequency the alien had spoken of, but this wasn't from the architects. This was from inside the barrier. It was a response. Rian's mind raced. Someone or something inside is fighting the architects. Another species trapped with us, or maybe the barrier's own systems reacting. The lights flickered again. The hum grew louder. Every glass panel in the room vibrated. The barrier was not breaking quietly. It was screaming. Suddenly, a wave of glowing particles rained down into the atmosphere. Not dangerous, just strange. People around the world recorded videos of shimmering dust falling from clear skies. Children reached their hands out to touch it. No one understood what it meant. But Rian did. It's barrier debris, he said softly. We're witnessing a prison wall fall apart. The building's main screen lit up again, showing the largest crack yet. A bright tear in space, stretching thousands of kilometers. Through that tear came light. Not sunlight, not starlight. Something older, something cold. Rian felt his breath freeze. The architects were trying to enter, but something stopped them, a counterforce. The tear pulsed. Once, twice, 3 times. Then an energy wave burst across the planet. All devices shut off for 3 seconds. When power returned, Rian whispered the truth. Something inside Earth's cage is fighting for us. And the architects were losing time. The barrier continued to crack above Earth like ancient glass breaking under invisible pressure. The sky was no longer a quiet blue dome. It had become a battlefield between forces no human had ever seen. Every hour brought new distortions. Light bending, colors shifting, clouds trembling like they were afraid of something above them. Humanity watched in fear and awe. Rian Hale watched in understanding. Someone was fighting to keep the architects out. Someone trapped inside the barrier with humanity. And that someone was losing strength. As the largest crack widened, alarms blared throughout the global defense network. Satellites stopped responding one by one. Communication towers flickered. Strange signals, neither human nor architect, echoed across radio bands. Then, a sudden flash lit up the sky. A streak of fire cut through the atmosphere, heading straight toward the desert. It wasn't falling like debris. It wasn't breaking apart. It was controlling its descent. A spacecraft, a controller shouted. Unknown class, unknown origin, impact zone, Western Desert. Rian didn't hesitate. He ordered a transport team, grabbed the alien crystal device from his pocket, and moved toward the landing zone. Helicopters, drones, and armored vehicles accompanied him. Yet he felt none of them could stop whatever had fallen from the sky. When they reached the site, the ground was scorched and cracked. A long trail of molten sand stretched for kilometers. At the end of it lay a small craft, similar to the one Rian saw in space, but larger, more advanced, and clearly damaged. Its metallic surface pulsed softly, like it was alive but exhausted. The soldiers aimed their weapons. Rian raised a hand. No one fires. This is not an enemy. The craft hull opened with a quiet hiss. Inside, in the dim light, sat another alien, taller than the one Rian met earlier, with pale gray skin, deep-set eyes, and armor that looked ceremonial rather than military. Its breathing was weak, but its gaze held strength. It looked at Rian first. Only him, as if it recognized him. "You," answered the whisper. The alien said in a gentle, broken voice. "And you escaped the architect's eyes. Few species can do that." Rian stepped forward. "You sent a message?" The alien nodded. "Yes, but I am not the first. Many prisoners inside this cage tried to warn Earth, but none reached you. Until now." "Prisoners?" Rian asked. "Yes," the alien whispered. "This barrier does not hold only humans. The architect sealed away any species they feared would break their order. Some of us live for centuries inside this cage, waiting for the day the barrier weakens." Rian felt a chill. Humanity wasn't the only victim. "How many?" he asked quietly. "Thousands at first," the alien said. "Now, only a few remain. Time and the architect have taken a rest." The alien coughed, a deep, painful sound, and Rian helped steady it. "You are wounded," Rian said. "I crossed the barrier," the alien replied. "The architects tried to stop me. They damaged my ship but failed to kill me." It pointed toward the sky. "They will return soon. They always return." Rian showed the crystal device. "Your friend gave this to me before he died." The alien lowered its head respectfully. "He sacrificed himself so this truth could reach you." The device projected a small hologram showing the barrier's weakening structure. The alien studied it and nodded. "Yes, the cracks are beyond repair. The architects will not be able to rebuild the cage. They will switch to the final plan." Rian frowned. "And what is that?" The alien's voice grew cold. "Eradication. If they cannot control a species, they erase it. They believe humans are too dangerous to be allowed into the galaxy." Rian felt anger ignite inside him. "We are not monsters." "No," the alien whispered. "You are something far more powerful. You adapt. You resist. You change the world around you instead of letting the world change you." The alien placed a trembling hand on his shoulder. "That is why they fear you." Before Rian could respond, the ground shook violently. Dust lifted. Vehicles rattled. Soldiers stumbled. Everyone looked up. A dark shape emerged through the largest crack in the barrier. Silent, enormous, ancient. Its surface glowed with patterns that shifted like living symbols. It was not a ship built for travel. It was a ship built for judgment. The alien's eyes widened with dread. The architect's judgment vessel. They sent it early. The barrier is failing faster than they expected. Rian clenched his fists. "We need to prepare Earth." The alien nodded weakly. "You must act quickly. Your world has little time." The architects do not negotiate. They do not warn. They do not show mercy. Rian helped the alien out of the craft. Soldiers stepped back, unsure whether to fear or respect the creature. The alien looked at the human sunset. Soft orange light spreading across the desert like a promise. "How strange," the alien whispered. "Your world is beautiful, yet it was caged like a beast." Rian replied with quiet determination, "Not anymore." The alien turned its gaze to him. "Then free yourselves. Show them why humanity should never have been locked away." Above them, the architect's judgment vessel descended slowly, casting a shadow across the desert, across Earth. The first true war for humanity's place in the galaxy had begun. The architect's judgment vessel descended slowly, blocking the sun like a second moon made of black stone. Its surface glowed with old symbols, markings that looked less like technology and more like warnings carved into the hull by time itself. Across the world, people looked up in fear. Animals hid. Oceans shifted. Machines detected pressure waves older than human civilization. Humanity was finally staring at what had imprisoned them for thousands of years. And the jailers had returned. Inside the desert base, alarms screamed through every hallway. Soldiers ran to positions. Engineers rushed to shield systems. Scientists scrambled to read the alien frequencies bursting across space. Every screen flashed the same 3 words. External presence detected. Rhea and Hale stood beside the wounded alien visitor. The creature stared at the massive ship in the sky with a mix of sorrow and anger. "That is not a warship," the alien whispered. "It is a purifier. If they fire it, nothing on Earth will survive." Rian felt a cold dread crawl up his spine. "But why destroy us?" he asked. "Why not talk?" The alien shook its head slowly. "The architects do not talk. They do not debate. They only judge. Their order is simple. If a species cannot be contained, erase it." Rian clenched his fists. "We won't let them." A deep rumble echoed from the judgment vessel. It wasn't sound. It was a vibration felt in bones and teeth in the ground itself. The ship was charging something. Something huge. Across the world, power grids short-circuited. Skies darkened. Storms erupted unnaturally. The ship's presence bent the weather as if reality itself was afraid to be near it. Rian knew humanity had minutes. He turned to the alien. "You said the architects fear chaos, human unpredictability. Can we use that?" The alien nodded weakly. "Yes, their technology expects order, logic, precision. Humans break all 3. A spark of hope flickered in Rian's mind. He rushed to the command center. "Prepare every global defense system, not to attack, but to confuse. Jam their signals. Flood their scanners. Overload their sensors. Do everything at once." A general stared in disbelief. "That's not a strategy." "It doesn't have to be," Rian said. "It only has to be human." Teams around the world began transmitting random frequencies: music, numbers, noise, heartbeat patterns, laughter, old radio shows, children shouting, engines roaring, birds singing, billions of signals, all clashing, all uncontrolled. Chaos. The architect's ship trembled. For the first time in thousands of years, something they expected to be simple became complicated. The ship adjusted, recalibrated, tried to isolate signals, but humans were too fast, too random, too alive. "Good," Rian whispered. "Make them feel the one thing they never understood: uncertainty." But the architects were not merely watchers. They were ancient rulers, and rulers adapt too. A beam of dark light descended from the judgment vessel, scanning the surface. Cities flickered. Satellites dropped out of orbit. People collapsed as the beam disrupted neural pathways for a moment. "They're trying to locate the core of your resistance," the alien warned. "They want to find the one who saw the truth, you." Rian's heart skipped. "Me? You are the trigger," the alien said. "You discovered the barrier. You heard the first warnings. You are the reason the architects returned early. They believe your curiosity will start a chain reaction that will spread across the galaxy." Rian didn't know whether to feel proud or terrified. The beam narrowed, focusing on the desert. "They found us," the alien whispered. Seconds later, a column of swirling energy dropped from the ship like a spear made of night. It struck the ground beside the base, tearing a crater into the earth. The shockwave blew vehicles sideways. Soldiers tumbled. Buildings cracked. The architects were not aiming to destroy the world instantly. They were aiming to weaken it, scare it, break its will. Rian stood firm. He shouted into comm systems, "Earth does not bow. Fight back." All across the planet, humanity answered him. Fighter jets launched, flying in chaotic patterns to confuse targeting AI. Naval fleets fired missiles not at the enemy, but around it, creating noise clouds. Hackers attacked alien frequencies with crude code. Civilians overloaded communication networks with random broadcasts. The architect's system struggled to understand a species that refused to follow any rule. The judgment vessel flickered. For the first time, it hesitated. Rian felt hope rise. They're unsure. They don't know how to predict us. But the alien placed a weak hand on his arm. "Be careful. When the architects cannot predict, they escalate." As if hearing those words, the ship unfolded. Massive metal rings rotated around its core, revealing a dark sphere inside, a gravity weapon. capable of crushing an entire planet into silence. Rian's breath caught. They're going to end Earth. Soldiers paled. Scientists froze. Even the bravest felt fear. But the alien stood tall despite its injuries. No, it said softly. Not while you fight. Humans were never meant to be contained. Show them why. Rian made his final decision. Activate every global cannon. Every jet. Every laser. Every hack device. Aim everything we have at that weapon. But it won't destroy it, a commander shouted. Rian nodded. It doesn't have to. It just has to distract them. The moment Earth's forces fired, the judgment vessel paused to shield itself. And in that pause, the world took back its breath. Humanity had survived the first strike, but the final battle had only begun. The judgment vessel hovered above Earth like a silent god, ancient and terrifying. Its gravity weapon pulsed with dark energy, each beat vibrating through the air like a warning before execution. Humanity stood on the edge of extinction, but humanity was not done. Not yet. Inside the Global Command Center, chaos turned into something else into focus. Screens showed world maps, energy signatures, alien movements, failing satellites, and through it all, one truth became clear. Humans were not fighting to survive. Humans were fighting to break the cage placed around them for thousands of years. Rian Hale stood at the center of it all, his voice steady, his eyes sharp, his resolve unshakable. They expect logic, he said. They expect order. They expect predictable tactics. He looked up at the sky where the architect's weapon began to glow. But Earth is not predictable. The entire command room moved at once. Phase 1, Chaos Surge. Millions of signals were launched into the sky. Not weapons, just noise. Pure, overwhelming human noise. Voices, songs, arguments, laughter, math equations, lies, prayers, heartbeat scans, jokes, radio static. Everything humanity had ever been. The architects' targeting systems trembled. Their ship flickered. They were confused. Good, Rian whispered. Confusion is step 1. Phase 2. Disruption net. Every human aircraft capable of flight, military jets, research crafts, even retrofitted cargo planes, rose into the sky, not in formation, not in lines, but in wild, unpredictable patterns, spirals, loops, random arcs. The architects hated randomness. Their targeting AI overloaded instantly. Meanwhile, ground teams deployed jammers built from alien scraps. Engineers used duct tape, wires, and guesswork, proving that humanity didn't need perfect technology, just creativity, just stubbornness, just chaos. And chaos worked. The judgment vessel's gravity weapon dimmed for a moment, struggling to maintain its charge. But the architects were not new to war. They were old, older than human history, older than most civilizations in the galaxy. They adapted fast. Suddenly, the ship released golden drones, hundreds of them, each shaped like sharp metallic wings that sliced through the air with terrifying grace. They aimed not at military targets, but at communication hubs. They wanted silence. They wanted Earthblind. Rian acted before fear could spread. Send the ground teams, he ordered. Every unit, every soldier, every volunteer. If the architects want silence, then fill the sky with more noise. Humans responded instantly. Anti-air cannons roared. EMP launchers fired. Even hack civilian drones joined the fight, swarming the golden machines in chaotic patterns. The golden drones began to fall, not because humans were stronger, but because humans were unpredictable. Meanwhile, Rian needed one more thing, time. He rushed to the alien visitor, who stood weakly behind medical equipment. The creature watched the battle outside with both fear and pride. "We need your help," Rian said. "You know their systems. You know how they think." The alien nodded slowly. "Yes, I know their weakness." It reached into its ruined armor and pulled out a small glowing shard, a power node stolen from the architects. This can disrupt their hive link, but a human must place it inside the gravitational core. Rian froze. A human? Why? Because humans are the only species whose thoughts cannot be predicted. The core will not detect you until it is too late. The implication was clear. A human had to infiltrate the judgment vessel. A human had to carry the shard inside. A human had to break the architect's ancient mind link. Rian inhaled deeply. I'll go. But the alien shook its head slowly. No, you are the mind that united Earth. You must remain here. Then someone unexpected stepped forward. Commander Aya Noor, one of Earth's most skilled pilots. Her voice was steady. I'll do it, she said. If humans are unpredictable, then let them try to predict me. Rian hesitated, but there was no time. Go, he said. Aya boarded a stealth jet modified in minutes with alien shards and improvised shielding. The jet roared into the sky, dodging drone fire, lightning arcs and gravity distortions. As she approached the judgment vessel, a strange calm fell over the battlefield. The giant ship reacted, but too slowly. Aya flew erratically, flying like no training manual had ever taught. Sharp turns, random climbs, sudden drops. She flew like a storm, wild, emotional, alive. The architects couldn't track her. She reached the core chamber. Shard deployed, she whispered. The shard fused with the core. A brilliant flash exploded outward, silent, white, blinding. The hive link broke like a snap chain. The judgment vessel shook violently. Golden runes dimmed. Gravity waves collapsed. Across the sky, all architect ships shuddered, as if a single mind had been torn apart. Rian watched from Earth as the largest imprisoning force in the galaxy lost its ancient balance. The alien beside him whispered in awe. You did it. Humans broke the mind of the architects. But Rian did not celebrate. He looked at the sky, at the wounded ships drifting without purpose. This was not victory, he said softly. This was only the beginning. Because now that the hive link was gone, the architects would come not as judges, but as a wounded empire hungry for revenge. The galaxy had finally heard Earth's heartbeat again, and the architects would not retreat quietly.